Hello everyone, and welcome to my EastEnders Media News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Fans of EastEnders have given the show's incredible episode of Tonight high marks. Yolande Truman was subjected to horrific scenes of sexual assault by Pastor Clayton, but her husband Patrick Truman was unaware of the abuse until recently. Yolande asked Elaine to assist her in explaining what happened to her since she was having trouble telling her husband the truth about what had happened. Patrick found it difficult to take in the information as Elaine described what had happened. Yolande locked herself in the bathroom despite Patrick's best efforts to talk to her about what had happened and offer support. She pursued Patrick and hurried to stop him when his rage took over and he went to face Pastor Clayton. Talking about what had transpired, Yolande resolved to denounce Pastor Clayton to the church authorities as they made their way back inside, but she said she didn't want to call the police. One fan wrote, "I like that they had Patrick's response be imperfect, felt very real to the characters, but he was always going to come good in the end." Fans were devastated by the moving scenes. Given the subject matter, this was surprisingly heartwarming. It's easy to see a more dramatic version, but this one was deeper. Another said, "Every now and then you see performances on TV or in movies that are so captivating and convincing that it makes you realize how hard acting is and how much craft actually goes into it." That was the situation at hand. Huge congratulations to Rudolph and Angela. A third person said, "This episode is unbelievable. Yolande did an amazing job portraying her monologue about consent. It was award-worthy." A fourth person shared, saying, "Watched this episode with my boyfriend. It felt so raw and real. My best friend attacked me while I was sleeping in my own bed, and having been touched by him earlier. And when Yolande disclosed to Patrick the truth, I started crying right away." Will Pastor Clayton finally be held accountable for his horrible and heinous acts, as well as all the women he has raped and assaulted over the years, now that Yolande is planning to report him to the church authorities? The most recent two-hander episode of EastEnders, starring Patrick, Rudolph Walker, and Yolande, Angela Winter, aired. When Patrick eventually learned that cruel Pastor Clayton, Howard Sadler, had killed his beloved Yolande, the two of them went through a painful process of coming to terms with the information. Yolande sought Elaine, Harriet Thorpe, for assistance in breaking the news to Patrick because she was unable to tell him about the abuse. Enraged, Patrick declared he was going to face the preacher. Yolande stopped him as he was about to rush onto the street and brought him back inside. He wondered if Yolande had known exactly what the pastor wanted and had turned her head to impress him, which was a horrifying and incorrect realization. Yolande bemoaned the absence of consent education for elderly women in a moving monologue in which she asserted that she had no involvement whatsoever in the pastor's repulsive aspirations. After realizing his mistakes, Patrick vowed to stick by his girlfriend and even hinted that they would leave the nation together, with her possibly moving to Trinidad to escape her trauma in Walford. Yolande, however, remained steadfast. Clayton should be the one to go, not them. Yolande firmly stated that while she would talk to the church about the pastor, she would not be reporting the incident to the police. Yolande and Patrick were stronger than ever as they sat in each other's arms on the sofa as the touching episode came to a conclusion. Will Yolande exact her retribution? Spoilers for Thursday's, May 7th, episode of EastEnders, which hasn't yet aired on BBC One, are below. A heartfelt alteration was made in the final credits of Yolande and Patrick's 2-hour episode of EastEnders. The pair was the focus of Tuesday's, May 7th, episode, when Patrick discovered that Pastor Clayton had recently sexually assaulted Yolande. Yolande ultimately opened out to Patrick in the heartfelt episode, sharing with him the things she had been keeping quiet about the attack for the previous few weeks. Patrick became certain that Yolande wasn't feeling well after noticing a notable change in her behavior recently. Conscious Yolande finally convinced her friend Elaine to give Patrick the truth over the phone because he needed to know. Patrick went to speak with Yolande, who was trapped in the bathroom, while he struggled to comprehend the news. Patrick was about to confront Pastor Clayton when his wrath got the better of him, but Yolande, who was upset, stopped him. At home, the two had heartfelt conversations about Yolande's experiences. At the conclusion of the show, Patrick had made a commitment to stand by Yolande and assured her that his feelings for her would never alter. Encouraged by Patrick's backing, Yolande affirmed that she would report Pastor Clayton to the church administration instead of calling the police. Then, instead of the show's customary closing credits, EastEnders used a heartfelt rendition of The Real Thing's "Can't Get By Without You." This was played over a snapshot of Yolande and Patrick's brighter moments as they got ready to embark on this challenging new adventure together. This weekend, EastEnders actress Angela Winter will be boarding the TARDIS for the newest season of Doctor Who. Her character will be quite different from Yolande Truman's. The 66-year-old actress played God-fearing Yolande in the BBC One serial opera for 5 years after making her debut. She made a few cameos on the show in 2017 before returning on a regular basis the following year. In tonight's May 7th episode, the heroine finally confides in her life partner Patrick, Rudolph Walker, about the horrific plot that has seen her sexually attacked by prayer group leader Pastor Clayton, Howard Sadler. But if you enjoy science fiction and soap operas, you could have seen her as a guest star in the popular series Doctor Who earlier this year. Showrunner Russell T Davies is presently leading a rebirth for the recently 60-year-old show, which was last seen on television in 2005 after a 16-year hiatus. Among his modifications have been the introduction of Ncuti Gatwa, a Barbie icon and pioneer of sex education, as the Doctor, and Millie Gibson, a former Coronation Street actor, as Ruby Sunday. We discovered that she lived in a spacious apartment with her aging grandma Cherry, portrayed by Angela, and that she was the adopted daughter of Carla, Michelle Greenidge. Lulubelle was a new foster child whom Carla took in. However, goblins abducted her and attempted to eat her on their mothership. Ruby vanished from the apartment after the Doctor prevented her from being consumed. It was eventually discovered that the goblins had traveled back in time to prevent the girl from being discovered on a church step, even though Carla and Cherry had no memory of the girl they had taken into their care 19 years earlier. Through the use of his TARDIS, the Doctor was able to stop them in 2004 and send Ruby back to her house. The new series will debut as a double bill ahead of the Eurovision Song Contest on BBC iPlayer on Saturday at midnight. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.